Mercedes has finally dared to mention a number that luxury electric SUVs have consistently failed to meet: 400 miles. Not a concept, not a prototype, and not an empty promise on the show floor. The question is simple, but crucial. Can the 2026 Mercedes EQ GLC actually achieve it, or is it just a pretty number in a brochure? And before you answer too quickly, there's one thing to understand. The GLC isn't just any car for Mercedes. The GLC is the backbone of Mercedes, their best-selling SUV globally. A car bought not for hype, but for trust. But when Mercedes entered the electric world with the EQ line, that trust wavered. The EQC was too ordinary, the EQS was too futuristic, and many felt the same way. It's a good electric car, but it's not the Mercedes I know. The 2026 Mercedes GLC EQ is here to solve that problem, not to shock the market, but to right a wrong. And this is where the 400-mile story becomes important. Mercedes built the GLC EQ on a new platform, the MB.EA Medium, a platform not built to show off power figures or brutal acceleration. Its focus is one: real efficiency. The 800-volt architecture allows for faster charging, more controlled heat, more consistent power efficiency. Instead of drastically enlarging the battery, Mercedes opted to increase energy density. This means weight remains reasonable, but driving range increases. And this is where the 400-mile claim starts to sound not impossible. Mercedes uses the WLTP standard. And yes, WLTP figures always sound optimistic, but interestingly, the GLC EQ isn't trying to beat Tesla with extreme numbers. It's trying to approach a range that can be consistently maintained. In a daily usage simulation, highway, steady speed, cooling on, realistic load, the GLC EQ is estimated to achieve close to 550 to 580 kilometers in real-world driving. And for a luxury electric SUV, that's significant. But there's more to it than the numbers themselves. Once inside the cabin, one thing is immediately apparent. This isn't an EQ trying to be overly futuristic. The layout is familiar, the seating position is natural, the materials feel expensive without being overly showy. The large screen is present, but not overpowering. Ambient lighting is present, but not overwhelming. The GLC EQ doesn't try to make you say, wow. It wants to make you say, relax. And for many Mercedes buyers, that's far more important. On the road, the GLC EQ feels mature. The steering isn't overly sharp. The suspension focuses on stability. The cabin dampening makes long journeys feel effortless. If a Tesla makes you realize you're driving an EV, the GLC EQ makes you forget. This isn't an EV for adrenaline. It's an EV for everyday life. The weight is still noticeable. The price isn't cheap, and charging infrastructure remains a challenge in many countries. The GLC EQ isn't a car for those seeking instant thrills either. It's too subdued for that. But that's precisely where the clarity lies. So, does a 400-mile range matter? Not entirely. What matters is that Mercedes has finally stopped chasing thrills and started chasing comfort, consistency, and trust. The 2026 Mercedes GLC EQ isn't the fastest EV. It's not the most futuristic. But it might be the first electric Mercedes that's truly ready for everyday driving.